Right then, lads, welcome back to Cossy's Arsenal podcast. My name is Cossy. I'm pretty excited. I'm really excited. I'm not trusting the process at the moment, but I'm excited. They said be excited. I'm a little bit excited. But of course, now Fabio Vieira has arrived in London. Of course, it was reported by David Ornstein, Fabrizio Romano, that the player will be flying to London today on Thursday, and that has been confirmed now by Pedro, the journalist in Portugal that broke the story, reported around it first. Yes, he has arrived in London. I'm going to be giving you more details around this one, around this story. It's a breaking one, as confirmed by a couple of my true sources. I'm also going to be giving you the overview again about the player. What do we expect of Fabio Vieira? Keep around. What is he like? What are his numbers last season? What exactly is his position? What do we expect to see him do in compared to Manchester City players in the midfield? Some people saying, look, Cossy, he's the new Kevin De Bruyne, and others telling me, Cossy, he's the new Bernardo Silva. So join me in the comments right now and tell me, who do you think he is going to be playing like? Is he your Bernardo Silva? Predominantly, he prefers to play with the left foot. So do you think he plays like Bernardo Silva? I know you've Googled him. I know you've looked at him on YouTube and his clips. Do you think he plays like Bernardo Silva, or he could be the Kevin De Bruyne? I'm also going to give you my opinion after looking at the results on SofaScore. Hit the like button for me. Why not? Let's get this video to 500 likes. I mean, let's just blow it up. 500 likes. Make sure that one gets in, and also subscribe to the podcast. This podcast is an Arsenal podcast. Everything Arsenal. You'll find opinions. You'll find news. You'll find rumors. You'll find everything Arsenal. When it comes to Arsenal being linked with players, this is the podcast for you. 5 videos for you every day. 6 videos for you every day, just to make sure that we keep you updated with whatever happens around Arsenal Football Club. Let's get to the content. And the first story, as I've reported, the player has arrived in London. He did fly. I was about to say flow. He did fly from Portugal a couple of hours ago, and now he has arrived. We do not expect him to do his medicals today, but if there are any changes, I will be letting you know on this channel. So the best way to do that, subscribe and keep yourself very posted by hitting that notification bell. So we do not expect the medical today. We expect the medical tomorrow. It has been said 5-year contract is what has been agreed upon until 2027. 40 million euros is what Arsenal will be paying. 35 million euros initially, plus bonuses that will lead the deal to 10 million to 40 million euros, 10 million euros less than the release clause of the player, which was actually set at 50 million euros. So that is the information we have at the moment. The player is in London at the moment. He's already finished his traveling. Is in London. We expect him at the London Collie tomorrow, and he's going to be joining with the side very soon after doing his medicals and also signing his contract. 5-year deal. The personal terms, I'm not yet sure about everything, but I'm trying to dig here and there so that I can actually bring you the latest around personal terms, salary, everything. How much is he going to earn? I know many of you are asking me, Cossy, how much is he going to earn? All that on the podcast. You're always going to be updated here, right? So I've got a very good detail, a very good account of who the player is actually. But before we get into that, I would love to share with you this from James Ole, ESPN, confirming as well that Fabio Vieira had a release clause of 50 million euros, but sources have confirmed that Porto have accepted to lower that offer, although final details are yet to be concluded. Sources claim Arsenal will pay an initial 35 million euros with a 5 million euro possible in performance-related add-ons. James Ole, that big man from the ESPN. I was about to say Athletic. The Athletic have been very key in breaking this story. Actually, if you look at the first 2 stories, the first 2-3 stories coming out, apart from the Pedro journalist in Portugal, it's been reported. David Ornstein and the Athletic have been at the forefront in breaking this story, and they've also told us that the agent of the player George Mendes. Is there any agent to a Portuguese player apart from George Mendes? I don't know. But George Mendes, the agent of the player, has been key and has been very, very active in getting this one done. He initiated the process and got it done. George Mendes, super, super agent. Now let's move on to SofaScore and look at what the player is like. What exactly are Arsenal signing? Who are they bringing in? And what exactly do they expect? Especially the fans who are on my who are in my social media. Cossy, who is this guy? Cossy, exactly. What exactly are we bringing in? So all right. So let's have a look. Now, right here is are the positions right here where you see me marking are the positions the player can play in, and you can see he can play as a left midfielder. He predominantly uses that left foot on a free role, so he can play as a left midfielder. He can also play as a central midfielder. He can play as an attacking midfielder and also as a false nine, which would call a central striker in this case. Of course, so you're not wrong if you ask and if you tell us, Cossy, he is our Bernardo Silva, because if you look at how Bernardo Silva has been really lining up for Manchester City, Jesus Christ, he's always he can come as a central midfielder, he can come as just in as a left midfielder, filling those small pockets of space on the left side. Then he can come as a half nine, then he can come onto the left wing, the right wing. So that is the kind of player we've signed in, at least by confirmation. So those are the positions where he can play as a man: left midfield, central midfield, attacking midfield, and also as a half nine. But I think he can even play in more positions than this. For example, I think he can play as a right midfielder with that left foot a little bit kind of being inverted. I think he can do that, but I think there will not be any role for that with the likes of Martin Odegaard around the side. And he also can play for you as a right winger and a right winger and a left winger as well. Probably not the one that you expect to be, stretching the pitch, stretching the length of the pitch and things like that, but one that you would say can be kind of inverted. The strength and weaknesses of the player right here. Strength, we have passing, playmaking, and long balls, right? We'll look at that. But first and foremost, his passing is lit. He's averaging a passing accuracy per 90, which is 83 per game. 83% passing accuracy per game for a player who we know is predominantly concerned with the final part, with the final part of the game. Now, playmaking, he's created 14 assists in 27 games where he's coming from. That is what we call playmaking, trying to create chances, trying to, provide those shot creating actions, providing those, goal creating actions around the midfield and around the team. Long balls as well. We'll look at those statistics a little bit later on. We'll get to that. Weaknesses, no outstanding weaknesses, but as far as I've made my research, I think I'm a little bit ahead of SofaScore at the moment, because I'm going to say this, that one of the problems we're going to have with him is that defensive ability. But of course, I think coming into the Premier League, he might be able to improve onto that. So, 22 years of age, coming in from Portugal. Let's look at his Heatmap here, actually, and it will give us a better picture of how he's been playing there at FC Porto. So, if you look at his Heatmap here, I didn't get the Bernardo Silva Heatmap, but that is his Heatmap, and it shows you that he's not a player who's going to dominate the game, but he's going to affect the game entirely. I think that makes sense. I don't know if it makes sense. He's not like a Thomas Partey. He's not like a Frankie de Jong. He doesn't bring in these thick heat maps, right? But when he plays, for example, on the left, or he plays on the right, then he definitely affects the game in that area. But he's also one player who loves marauding around the midfield. I think people who say that he plays like Bernardo Silva on this one are absolutely right. So that kind of player that can try to control the game for you, and also that kind of player that can concentrate in an area, for example, left midfield, and then leave the other parts, leave the other parts of the pitch for other players. And if you look at what Mikel Arteta is trying to do with positional play and trying to instill all the doctrines from Pep Guardiola into Arsenal, positional play is all about players playing in zones. You must be able to play in your zone. You must be able to be effective in your zone before crossing into other people's zones. Actually, it is better that you don't cross into other people's zones. It's better that you stay in your lane. I mean, that is positional play. It's got you have dedicated demarcations where a player has to run, where a player has to operate. And if you look at this heatmap right here, it literally shows you exactly the kind of player is picking up that ball right from the center line. Yes, it does come. Yes, it does drop. Back beyond the center half to his own half. But look at that yellow. And look at where the red is concentrated. It shows you that his concentration is always in the final third. And it explains why he's creating more. It explains why one of his strengths is actually, playmaking. Now, some of the statistics is, he had last season 27 games for them. And he only for Porto, he only started 15 minutes per game. He's averaging 50. I do not know if he's injury prone, but one of the things I've read on Twitter from one of the Portuguese fans in Portugal saying, look, he's one of the most interesting players now in Portugal if he doesn't suffer injuries. So let us hope he doesn't suffer injuries. Now, in terms of attack, goals. 6. He scored 6 goals for them, for FC Porto. Scoring frequency 224 minutes. He needs to add to that, because if you look at players like Bernardo Silva, there was a time when he was almost scoring a goal per 90 for Manchester City, and of course that those spells at times come to an end. But 224 minutes, you need to add to that. You need to lower that. You need to be scoring more goals from the midfield. But I think 6 goals are not that bad. Goals per game 0.2. Shots per game, which is interesting, 1.9. So 1.7. So he's averaging 1.7 shots per game. That is interesting. That is quite interesting. I think Arsenal fans will be interested in this, right? So you have Martin Odegaard, who's averaging at least 1.9 shots per 90 or per game, and then you have Fabio Vieira, who's averaging 1.7. And of course, these are young players. They're getting the experience. They're going to keep on getting better and better and better. Shots on target per 90, 0.5. He needs to add on to that. Big chances per 90. He's missing 2. He needs to add to that. Actually, I was wondering why he only has 6 goals, but if he's missing 2 big chances per 90, then he should be. That means he's massively underscoring his XG, and that can be explained down here. Goal conversion is 13%. That is not effective. That is absolutely not effective. So he needs to add to that as well. Goals from inside the box. He has 4 out of his 17 goals. So that means he also has the ability to score goals outside the box. Goals from outside the box. Goals from outside the box. He can score 2 out of every 29 shots. He needs to add to that. Yes, he can score goals from both inside and outside. That is good. I think his accuracy inside the penalty area is what is lacking. He needs to add something to that. And then left foot goals, he scored 4, and right foot goals, he scored 2. And of course, we've talked about the fact that he's predominantly going to use that left foot always. Now, passing, assists 14, touches per 90 40, big chances created. Wow. This is beautiful. This is absolutely brilliant, right? Big chances created 14. He will need to add to that, right? If he can play 30 games in a campaign and create, like, for example, and he creates 25 big chances Of course, a couple of them are gonna be missed, but I think it's gonna get better. 14, that is good. That is absolutely good. Passing accuracy per 90, 83%. That is fine. In his own half, he's having 93, and in the opposition half, he's having 71. And you don't blame him, because this kind of figures, this kind of numbers, always will go down as a player plays high up the pitch. It's very, very different with the likes of Bissouma and Partey. We looked at it with Bissouma and Partey, because for them, they're concerned with the defensive part of the game and also game control. They always are in very, very secure spaces. He's either next to the center line, or if he's above that, then he's above the center line by at times 3, 4, 5 years. But with players like Fabio Vieira and Odegaard, you look at them, they're always trying to enter that penalty area. So his passing accuracy in the opposition half is not worrying for me. It can improve, but it's not something to be worried about. Okay, interceptions per game. The defending part, this is what we talked about. The defensive part of this game is absolutely, not at the level where you want it to be, and I think it can actually, improve. Successful dribbles 0.8, 47%. It needs to add to that. Total duels won 3.4, which is 54% for a player in his area. Depending on where Mikel Arteta is going to choose him to play, I think he will also need to improve on that. So we'll try to keep on studying the player, telling you more about it. He's now in London. He has arrived. He's our man. Why not? Just enjoy it. Just enjoy it. Cossy, I will bring you a video of how different Arsenal fans are reacting on Twitter, on Fabrizio on Fabrizio tweets, and also David Onstein tweets. Make sure you are tuned in.